The morning light crept in through the blinds, painting my bedroom in soft gold. My dress hung on the back of the door, a shimmering white reminder that today, finally, was supposed to be mine. My hands shook as I traced the lace with my fingers. For once, I wanted to believe this house of cruelty could not touch me. But I should have known better. The door creaked open without a knock. My mom stepped in, holding a tall candle, the flame flickering with each movement of her hand. Her lips curled into that smirk she always wore when she was about to do something cruel. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. So this is the big day? She sneered, setting her eyes on me like a hawk circling prey. You really think you're going to walk down that aisle like some kind of princess? You've always been ashes, and today you'll match. I frowned, pulling my robe tighter. Mom, please, not today. Just let me have this one day. Her smirk sharpened. Without warning, she yanked a handful of my hair and lowered it into the candle's flame. The hiss of burning strands filled the air. Smoke spiraled up, thick and acrid, stinging my eyes. I screamed, clawing at her hand, but she held on, grinning. When she finally let go, the ends of my hair were blackened and brittle. I stared into the mirror, my face pale, my hair uneven, the bride I imagined destroyed in seconds. She blew on the candle lightly, then whispered, "Now you match the ashes of your life." My father appeared in the doorway, sipping his coffee like it was just another morning. His eyes landed on me, then on the scorched strands of hair scattered on the floor. Instead of shock, instead of anger, he chuckled. A deep belly laugh that cut through me like a knife. God, look at you, he said between laughs. Crying over a few hairs when your whole life's been a waste. Ashes fit you. She did you a favor. Behind him, Rachel pushed past with her phone raised, recording. She zoomed in on my face, snickering. Oh my God, this is perfect. What groom wants a bride who looks like a burned rag doll? She angled the phone toward Dad. Say hi to the world, Dad. Dad smirked into the lens. Meet the family clown, about to embarrass herself at the altar. I tried to grab the phone, but Rachel pulled back, laughing so hard she nearly dropped it. Don't worry, sis. I'll keep this forever. Maybe I'll show your husband on the honeymoon, give him a good laugh. My chest tightened. The dress, the vows, Ethan waiting for me, all of it felt like it was crumbling before my eyes. I wanted to collapse. I wanted to vanish, but instead something inside me began to shift. I clutched the scorched strands in my palm, my tears drying against my cheeks. I looked at them, their laughter filling the room, and for the first time I didn't beg. I didn't plead. I stared back into the mirror at my ruined reflection and thought, this isn't the end of me, this is the beginning of them. Because in that moment, as smoke curled in the air, I realized something. Fire burns both ways. And they had no idea what I was about to set alight in their lives. The ceremony went on, but not the way I imagined it. Ethan held my hands at the altar, his eyes darting to my uneven bun, the faint smell of smoke I couldn't wash out clinging to me like a curse. I whispered, I'll explain later, and his jaw tightened. He didn't ask more, not then. He kissed me at the end, soft and steady, like he was promising something he didn't have the words for. But inside, all I could hear was their laughter from that morning. The reception was worse. My family sat at a table in the corner, whispering and smirking every time I walked past. Rachel showed something on her phone to her friends, and their giggles carried across the hall. I didn't need to see it to know what it was. My ruined hair, my tears, my shame. By the time Ethan and I left for the night, I wasn't just a bride. I was a storm bottled up in silk and lace. The weeks that followed should have been about building a new life, settling into our small apartment, enjoying being newlyweds. But instead, every night I lay awake replaying that morning. The candle, the hiss, the smell of my hair burning, my dad's booming laugh, Rachel's voice squealing with joy. It haunted me, and then it hardened me. One night, Ethan found me sitting at the kitchen table, staring at nothing. Talk to me, he said, crouching beside me. "They set me on fire," I whispered, "on my wedding day," and they laughed. His face darkened. "We can cut them off, forget them, build our own life." I shook my head. "No, cutting them off isn't enough. They need to feel it. They need to choke on their own ashes the way they wanted me to." For the first time in my life, I felt like I had clarity. Revenge wasn't about screaming back or begging for them to stop. It was about stripping away the things they loved, the illusions they hid behind until they were as exposed as I had been in that mirror. So I started watching. Mom prided herself on her dinner parties, the way her friends admired her perfect home, her flawless jewelry. But I knew the truth. Half her jewelry was fake, pawn shop pieces dressed up as treasures. All it took was a few quiet whispers, a couple of receipts accidentally placed where the right people could see, and her circle of admirers began to shrink. Invitations stopped coming. When she hosted, chairs sat empty. Her laugh turned brittle. Dad's business was his throne. He barked about loyalty, bragged about success, but I knew he cut corners, cheated contractors, bullied workers. I sent anonymous packages to the right offices, copies of contracts he forgot to honor, emails he thought no one saved. Soon lawsuits piled up. His phone rang day and night, but this time no one called him boss. They called him thief, sant. And Rachel, the golden child, the princess she thought the world revolved around her smile and her phone screen. But behind the staged photos and filters, she was reckless. She bragged online about shopping sprees while her credit cards gasped for air. I didn't need to hack her. I just nudged the right rumors into her followers' feeds, exposed the cracks in her picture-perfect life. The likes dried up. The sponsorships vanished. Her so-called friends found shinier stars to orbit. Each move was small, invisible to them at first, but together, it was like tugging threads out of a tapestry. One by one, their lives began to unravel. Ethan watched me, worried, but he didn't stop me. He only asked once, "Are you sure this is what you want?" I looked at him, remembering the candle, the smell, my own reflection broken in the mirror. They made me ashes on the most important day of my life. This is me setting the fire back where it belongs. But revenge wasn't just about hurting them. It was about timing. It was about making sure they understood, without a shadow of doubt, that I was the one holding the match. So I waited. I collected every crack, every stumble, every humiliation, until the day came when I knew they were weak enough and desperate enough to break. And that's when I decided it was time to make them kneel. It was almost a year later when I set the stage. By then, the cracks I had started were no longer cracks. They were craters swallowing everything they owned. Dad's business, once his pride, was hanging by a thread. Contractors he cheated dragged him into courtrooms, creditors circled, and even the local paper ran a story about corrupt deals finally catching up. For a man who thrived on being called the boss, seeing him reduced to whispers of scammer was almost satisfying. Almost. Mom, once the queen of her dinner circle, couldn't even get a call back from her so-called friends. They had all seen the pawn slips, all seen the cheap jewelry she passed off as heirlooms. The same women who used to fawn over her barely nodded when she walked into the market. She came home with groceries and silence, no one left to boast to. Rachel was the easiest. Her social media empire collapsed after one too many exposures of her lies. Sponsorships gone, followers gone. She sat in her room with bills stacked on her dresser, refreshing her phone like a gambler waiting for luck that never came. The sister who cheered while my hair burned now sobbed because her perfect image was ashes. But that wasn't enough. I wanted them to feel what I felt that morning, powerless, humiliated, stripped of dignity, and I knew exactly how to do it. I invited them over. Just a simple message: if you want help, come tonight. They showed up late, already fragile. Dad's suit looked 2 sizes bigger on him, his tie missing. Mom's makeup was caked on like she was trying to paint over desperation. Rachel wore sweats, her hair greasy, a shadow of the girl who once smirked into every camera. I had prepared the apartment. a small table in the center, a single candle burning the same kind they used on me. On the table, I placed something else, the scorched clump of hair I had kept wrapped in tissue since that morning. Their gift to me. When they walked in and saw it, their faces drained of color. "What is this?" Mom whispered, her voice cracking. I didn't answer. I just stared at them, letting the silence stretch. Dad tried to bluff. "We didn't come here for games. We're here because you've been ruining us. We know it's you. Stop this madness before—" "Before what?" I cut him off, my voice calm. "Before you lose everything? Before the world sees you for what you are?" I leaned forward, eyes locked on his. "I lost everything that morning. You took my dignity on my wedding day. You laughed while I burned, and you think I'd let you walk away clean?" Rachel sniffled, her bravado gone. "Please, I can't take this anymore. Just stop. Please." I looked at her, remembering her voice squealing. What groom wants a bride who looks like a rag doll? Now she was the rag doll, crumpled and empty. Mom tried to stand tall, but her voice shook. "We're still your family. You owe us." "Owe you?" I slammed my hand on the table. The candle flickered, the flame casting sharp shadows across their faces. "I owed you respect, and you burned it. I owed you love, and you laughed in my face. No, you owe me." They all fell silent. I pointed to the floor in front of me. "Kneel." They froze. "You told me to crawl like ashes," I said, my voice steady, icy. "You wanted me on the ground, begging, worthless. Tonight, you get on your knees, or you leave here with nothing left to cling to." For a moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, Dad lowered himself, his pride cracking louder than his knees. Mom followed, her mascara streaking as tears slipped free. Rachel collapsed completely, sobbing into her hands. The sight should have felt impossible, but it was real. The same people who once towered over me now knelt at my feet, begging. "Say it," I demanded. Dad clenched his jaw. "We're sorry." Louder. He choked, then shouted, "We're sorry." Mom echoed, her voice broken. "We're sorry. Please forgive us." Rachel whimpered, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I blew out the candle. Smoke curled in the air, sharp and bitter, the same smoke I smelled on my wedding morning. Only this time, it wasn't mine. It was theirs. "You'll live in these ashes," I said quietly. "Every time you think you've rebuilt, remember this night. Remember who made you crawl." I walked out, leaving them on the floor, the candle snuffed, the room thick with silence and their sobs. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one left in ashes. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.